Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's Friday, and welcome to another edition of Let It Be Known. Of course, I'm your host, Stacy Brown.
Good morning, Stacy. Peace and love, everybody. I'm your co-host, Niele Anderson, and we have tons of headlines to get through. But most importantly, Stacy, TGIF.
We need more than one Friday in a week. You know what? You got a president who's like dictating everything. Dictated another Friday. How about
Man, I mean,
that?
because he works less while we work more.
Oh gosh, he's busy putting up Grim Reaper memes and stuff like that. So, but I tell you what, before we get into it, 50 Cent, and I know this is not like one of our talking points, but I gotta mention this. 50 Cent is so diabolical. He is up to his old tricks, but in the worst way. He pins this faux letter, but I don't know if you saw it. Did you see it, Niel?
I
This
did.
you did. What's
Mhm.
wrong with him? Before I go into all that, I don't even have to go into what's wrong with 50 Cent, Niel.
I mean, I personally wouldn't give him the energy
Okay.
because
Okay.
he is just he's out of pocket. He's worse than a woman. You know what I mean? Like, what grown man? I don't know a grown man that does things like that. Something's wrong with Diddy and something's
Yeah.
wrong with 50 Cent.
Look, the guy is absolute. He's. I mean, he pens obviously, it's
I
not
didn't even
something
read
he
it.
sent it to the judge, but he's talking about the government sending troops to the wrong house, and this is the danger Diddy brings, et cetera, et cetera. And he mentions his son. And I always say you got to keep the kids out of it. He used the R word to describe one of Diddy's kids, sexual assault or R word. And it's wrong. It's wrong on every facet of the game. Come on, the guy. He's obvious. Diddy's obviously gonna get some time today. He's obviously gonna get some time. Um, probation
Yeah.
is probation is asking for 7 years. The prosecutor's asking for 11, and Diddy's asking for time served. So you do the math.
Yeah. We had Funky Geneva on the Shade Room last night, and his prediction was Diddy's gonna get 3 years. So
That's what
we
I
got
say.
we
Mhm.
got the influencers talking about 3 years, the probation
Yep.
talking about seven,
Yep.
and of course the prosecution talking about 11. And we also know that the judge did deny a retrial as well as dropping the two charges that he was convicted of. And so, we'll see. It'll be
Yeah.
interesting to see who is in the courtroom today. We know his family will be there, but wondering from the prosecution side, who's going to be sitting on that side. It's a lot happening today in New York City, and all eyes will be on that courtroom.
Well, Jane Doe number three is expected to have her say, and she is saying that he is not a danger and that she never wanted
Mhm.
to be a part of this in the first place. We know that there's an expectation that Young Miami has sent a letter in
Well, she has, yeah.
and in support of him. So it's gonna be interesting. Cassie's letter is already in. She's asking for him to do some serious time. Um,
Diddy is expected to speak today to the court. He dropped his letter last night. He dropped, I think it
yeah.
was a 4-page letter, or maybe they were playing off the Aaliyah song. Not sure which one, but and he is expected to speak. We know that the judge granted him the opportunity to wear plain clothes, so of course Diddy will
hmm
be suited and booted in the courtroom,
No
and
shoelaces though. No shoelaces. That's what the judge said. No shoelaces.
I'm pretty sure he'll have on, his best dress shoes. And, we'll just see what happens to Diddy. All eyes will be on there, but 50 better be careful because I'm sure he has some skeletons in his closet. And sometimes when you are in other people's businesses, the shade gets pulled up on yours.
Isn't that right? Anyway, do our producer have something for us this morning? I didn't go to our producer's cut. What's she have for us this morning? Yeah. Silence. So here we go.
This is Mayor Brandon Scott. I've been debating whether I was going to share this voicemail that I received in June, but I really think it's timely for folks to hear the kind of hatred and vitriol and, to be quite frank, racism that still exists in the world today, and know that what their representatives and what average people go through every single day still in this country. But I want to hear it and then give you my direct response to that message right now.
Yeah, this message is for Brandon Scott, the motherfucking nigger wannabe thug ass gangster who pretends to be the mayor of Baltimore City. How about you stop making Baltimore a place for worthless piece of worthless shit niggers like you who just shoot each other and sell drugs? How about you fucking do your goddamn job and actually stop crime instead of benefiting and financially fucking upping yourself with it? We all know you're a motherfucking wannabe kingpin, and you are running Baltimore's criminal enterprise the way that you should be running the fucking city. You are a fucking nigger. You are a worthless fucking nigger, and every fucking nigger that works with you is just as much of a fucking worthless criminal nigger as you are. Fuck you. Fuck all of you. Go fuck yourselves. You would be better off if you all killed yourself.
There's a lot to unpack there, obviously. This isn't the first time I've been called nigger. It won't be the last. In fact, if I go a week without being called the N-word in email, text message, direct message, voicemail, whatever, I feel like I'm not doing my job. Because when they do that, they actually are expounding upon what we're supposed to do, making people who think like that idiot on the other line of that phone be uncomfortable, because now we're representing all people and pushing and not being afraid to be a proud black man, which I am never going to be afraid to be a proud black man. And yes, we're making Baltimore City better for black people, because this is the birthplace of redlining. I am investing into neighborhoods like the one that I grew up in that was disinvested in on purpose. But we're not just doing it for black people. We are a black city, bliggity, bliggity black, as I say. We're proud of that. We're always going to be a proud of that. If you don't like it, that has something to do with you, not with us. We're black. We're proud. Don't come if you don't like us. We don't really care. But we're also improving for all of our communities, because lifting up Baltimore is what really matters to me and what matters to us in the city of Baltimore. And we're making Baltimore City safer. Despite what this idiot may think or may have read in the right-wing talking points, Baltimore has its fewest amount of homicides to this day on record. But we're not celebrating. We're acknowledging that historic progress and knowing we have even much more work to do. But to say that we're not tackling the issue is simply just ignoring the fact. And what they really want to say is that we're not tackling it their way. We're not going out and arresting every black person just for being black and breathing. That we're being smart on crime, which is a lot better and proven to have a lot better results than their tough on crime ways of the past. And lastly, I have never been a criminal. Contrary to popular beliefs of these racist idiots, even though I grew up in a neighborhood where there were many, many drug dealers, people that I went to school with, I never sold drugs, and I never will, because I also know how drugs showed up into black neighborhoods. And let me be the spoiler, it wasn't black people. And more importantly, my family would have killed me. And even the people in my neighborhood that were doing that told me specifically that I had to be better than them and would not allow me, even if I thought about it, to do that. They're proud that I've been able to come from where we come from to accomplish the things that I've accomplished, because contrary to what you idiots think, people don't wake up at 5 years old and say, oh, I want to sell drugs for a living. That's not how it actually happens. We're proud to be black. I'm proud to be black. We're never going to be afraid of these folks. We know that they hide behind their desks, they hide behind their keyboards, their phones, All of these things because we want to make you uncomfortable. We want to let you know that your way of life is not the way your life is supposed to be. The way you think is not the way people are supposed to think. And there is nothing that you can do to stop us because everything on this planet comes from black people, even you. Blackness today, blackness tomorrow, blackness forever. Peace.
Mayor Scott has always impressed me personally. And the way he handled that, shoot, it wouldn't have been me. I couldn't have handled it nearly as good as Brandon Scott handled that. So good for him.
Yeah, that's the times we live in today. It's sad to see, but the reality is, black leadership is going to be under attack like never before under this Trump administration. And later in the show, we have more news about what's happening to black-led cities and Democratic-led states, and we'll give you more details a little later in the show.
Well, one of the things that's happening is ICE is terrorizing. Now they're terrorizing black neighborhoods. I saw the idiot Stephen A. Smith, and yes, he's an idiot. I don't care how you slice it. He's an idiot. He is a groveler. You hate to see one of the worst things to me. We see, like, we had our issues, or I had mine with your folks from, your friends from Chicago Flips Red or whatever. But I could take those people more than I can take somebody who's sitting on millions of Stephen A. Smith signed a seven-figure contract with ESPN, and he has privilege that and he walks in that privilege, right? When we think of privilege, we think about white folks, but Stephen A. walks in that privilege. People have talked about this. He goes into a basketball arena like he's gonna play, or he's the celebrity or whatever. But when you have that type of following and money to be so, it makes him even more dangerous. His messaging is so dangerous. And he totally supports what Trump is doing with ICE. How does anybody support that? How does anybody say it just makes no sense. So now they are going into, it's not just immigrants. Now they went into a Chicago projects, ICE did, detained one count said more than 75 black families, put them in
Hmm.
zip ties, separated the kids, put the kids in a not a U-Haul, but one of those U-Haul like trucks, and put the parents in another truck. Kept them there for hours and didn't told them to shut up when they was asking them, why are you detaining us? We are American citizens. Told them to shut up, among other things. And after about 4 hours, they finally released them. Never gave an explanation for any of that. A budget chuck. There you go. Um, this is okay with Stephen A. Smith. This is okay with folks like that. I was talking to someone yesterday, someone from MasterCard. In fact, we were on the phone together. He is a higher up at MasterCard, black guy. And he said to me, he said, where are all of the uh, black folks who have built their careers on the backs of black folks? Where are all the black folks who have uh, benefited from the black press? Where are all those folks? And you know who he was talking about. And I told him I knew exactly who he was talking about. I told him to read a recent article I wrote about that. But Stephen A. Smith and people like him, these are the people that if you're going to root for ICE to take anybody away and to disappear them, it's a Stephen A. Smith.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's gonna get worse before it gets better. Um, and I mean, Stephen A. Smith is not somebody that, it depends on what you put into your ears and your system. Stephen A. Smith is not one of those people that I listen to. And basically he's only talking to black Trumpsters and, feeling it making white folks feel good that are, part of that regime. And so,
Hmm.
it's America, free speech, let him do
Hmm.
what he does. Nobody gives a shit.
Yeah, we saw Jasmine Crockett read Byron Donald's his rights and everything else.
Right, right, yeah.
And I will say Roland Martin, he is he's a friend of Stephen A. Smith, but he continues to call Stephen A. out constantly on his
Mhm.
platform.
It is so
Eh,
important, I mean, it's
mhm.
important that you say the things, that you say, and you point those things out. Um, but at the end of the day, we should be, more so protecting his right to have free speech, because that's something that's being taken away from all of us. And that's something that, this country, that was one of the liberties that everybody wanted to come here for, is because the right to say how you feel and what you think. Now, as long as it's not inciting a riot or anything, I mean, it's his prerogative to say that. We don't have to listen to it.
Yeah, and the only reason why I don't watch his show, but it comes across your timelines. Folks are talking about it, and
Mhm.
so
It's clickbait. It's
it is.
clickbait.
It
He's
is.
clickbait.
He is. He's bought and paid for. He's on Fox News all the time, and
Mhm.
he's doing the buck dance constantly, despite that's the thing. Despite Niele having the wherewithal not to
Well, I
the
mean, it's
finance.
also about, he sees the value in taking up a space that not most Black people are going to be in, right? And so he's capitalizing on that. And it's sad, but it is his right to, to do that. And I
Mhm,
think, we have to be really careful about, wanting to silence people because they don't agree like how we think, because that is like our fundamental free speech right, and we have to protect that, even for assholes like Stephen A. Smith. And another thing is, he saw how filling that space, how it worked for a Kanye West. You know what I'm saying? And so you see, okay, Kanye is not the one, but maybe I can be the Negro.
Yeah, he could be the
Even that,
supreme house Negro.
right, right. So if he wants to be that Negro, go for it.
Yeah, yeah.
Wait, we have
Sec
some some comments over there. Mike V says sounds more like Stephen A. Kirk. Ooh. Dr. Raylan says Smith is damaging to our people. Mm. And what else do we have? We have some more. Orange
Look what Aquarius says. His hairline can go visit Lake Lanier.
Orange G says we never had free speech in this country. Well, I think that's debatable. I see what you're saying, but we really have. You know what I'm saying? And it's more important ever that we speak up more with that liberty and do more to protect it. Being in the status and the climate that we're in now. And then
Well, go
PHX
ahead.
back, welcome back. I'm glad you are checking in from wherever you are in the world. He says, I
But
agree with Orange G. It would have said it's free until you upset someone in power.
see, 100%. And Austin says, why does his hairline commence behind his ears? Somebody else with the hairline.
Good morning, Austin. Austin
Uh,
was so nice to us at CBC. Made
oh,
sure,
he's
we
trying
had
to
our
turn on the charm.
electricity
Oh
and
God.
everything. I mean,
Enough,
very
enough
helpful.
with Austin.
Shout out
Enough
to
with Austin.
Austin.
Enough with Austin. That's enough. That's enough. He
Okay,
doesn't
that's
deserve
enough.
that.
Okay.
We talked about Austin yesterday and the great work he does with those kids at the Lockridge Foundation.
Right.
Here's something else that's going on. You and I kind of touched on it before the show yesterday. What's going on in the WNBA? That league is gonna, the league is gonna fold, right? It's gonna fold, and that new league is gonna take all the stars. They're gonna pay them,
You mean
and they
Unrivaled? You talking about
unrivaled.
Unrivaled?
Yes, because Aja, Asia, how you say her names? I've heard people say
Asia
Aja
Wilson.
or
It's
Asia.
Asia.
Okay, because she
Aja,
got that little.
Asia. Yeah.
Okay, but
Tomato,
she.
tomato.
Oh, thank you. I'll take a tomato. She had one of the strongest reactions among the WNBA community to Nafisha Collier's explosive statement about the WNBA leadership. Collier absolutely eviscerated the WNBA and the commissioner Kathy Engelbert over the league's officiating issues and ongoing contract negotiations, and calling out the league for having the quote the worst leadership in the world,
I
and
wish
that
we could.
includes.
I'm sorry. I
Go
was
ahead.
just gonna say if Greer can pull it up so we can actually hear what she said, because I think it was really impactful.
It was very impactful, and of course, the commissioner made a whole lot of controversial statements that ruffled a lot of feathers, including her statement about Caitlin Clark. That was really interesting. And what she said, if you missed it, is that Caitlin should be grateful. If it wasn't for the WNBA, she wouldn't be able to make $16 million a year off the court. That while there's, you can argue with that, you can argue that that statement is true, but it's a bad look coming from the commissioner, because you
Yeah,
should want your players to be able
right.
to excel like that.
Greer, if you could pull that up, that would be so helpful because I think to hear what she was saying is really important to really kind of drive this story home. I know that Angel Reese gave it a 10 out of 10. She said no notes. And you have sports commentators, especially Black women, really leaning into what Fifi was saying as she was exiting the WNBA. She was the vice president of the association for the players. And you really didn't know all of this was going on until she just opened the door and let us know how she really feels. And for the players to come and support and really, second the motion that she was saying, it really speaks to the commissioner. And, they're calling for her to resign. And it doesn't look
Mhm.
like, her response was, I'm sorry you feel that way.
Yeah, I really believe that this league is going to go under, and that's because, in large part, the women, you hear their comments, you see their comments. They are tired of this. They have all long felt underpaid, underappreciated, and now they have an option.
Right.
Thanks to Unrivaled and people like Serena Williams and others who are backing Unrivaled, not just in word but in deed, with their
Mhm.
money, with their pocketbooks.
Yeah, there
So,
was a tweet about Angel Reese saying that Angel Reese saying that somebody was saying, I wish you would focus more on basketball than, all of these endorsements and things like that. And her response was, I wish I could, but when my endorsements pay me more than the league, then I'm going to do both. Okay. When the league can start paying me more money than what I'm getting at Reebok, Sephora, and any other brand that I have, then maybe I would consider focusing more on basketball. But at this point, I can't afford it.
We have the best players in the world. We have the best fans in the world. But right now, we have the worst leadership in the world.
The Minnesota Lynx' Nafisa Collier, whose season ended with an ankle injury after this controversial no call against the Phoenix Mercury in the semifinals, came out firing about the commissioner of the WNBA, Kathy Engelbert, and the way she's handled complaints about officials this season.
I sat across from Kathy and asked how she planned to address the officiating issues in our league. Her response was, well, only the losers complain about the refs. I also asked how she planned to fix the fact that players like Caitlin, Angel, and Paige, who are clearly driving massive revenue for the league, are making so little for their first 4 years. Her response was, Caitlin should be grateful she makes $16 million off the court because without the platform that the WNBA gives her, she wouldn't make anything. And in that same conversation, she told me players should be on their knees thanking their lucky stars for the media rights deal that I got them. The league believes it succeeds despite its players, not because of them.
The commissioner responding in a statement, writing, quote, I am disheartened by how Nafisa characterized our conversations and league leadership, but even when our perspectives differ, my commitment to the players and to this work will not waver. Overnight four-time MVP Asia Wilson taking direct aim at the commissioner after her
Thank
team's
you,
win.
Greer.
I had an opportunity to.
Oh.
Yeah.
Engelberg looked like an Engelberg. I had to say that.
So, and
some
it'll
things
be
you can't help.
interesting to see if the WNBA commissioner you will have a conversation with her because that still really falls under him. You know what I'm saying? The WNBA is under his umbrella. So, the NBA can do a lot to fix this situation too. So
Again, I disagree with you on that. I disagree
why
with you
it's
because
all
I don't.
it's go ahead.
No. I'm sorry. Go
No,
ahead.
you
Let me
go
let
ahead.
you
No,
finish.
I'm trying to understand.
We've had this disagreement before, and I still stand on what I've said, and I know you stand on what you've said. The NBA has nothing to do with this whatsoever. It's not their business. Yes, it would be nice if they decided. Just like it would be nice if somebody decided to give the Black Press some cash. But it would be nice if the NBA decided to give them some cash and help them out. But that's still not what their job is. The NBA's job is not that. They did their job. They started that league. They put them on their 2 feet, and now it's time for them to step up. They are now a revenue generating league. They can stand on their own. And I think that with all of the new deals, with these young players coming in, like an Angel Reese and a Caitlin Clark and others, and you got Asia Wilson, people like that, you have marketable folks here in the WNBA. For the first time, you have a bunch of marketing folks. They need to stand on their own, and if they can't, then it's a failure on the commissioner and those who make those type of decisions, because there's no way. You see the stadiums are now full. They're getting these TV deals. Pay them. You can pay them. If you can't, then you have unrivaled.
And
I don't agree.
I could be wrong, but I mean, the way I look at it is like CBS, CNN are all owned by a parent company, which is that Sky, that Larry Ellison's company. So they all fall under their watch. And so the WNBA is this extension of the NBA. And so at the end of the day, that NBA attachment makes it all of their problem, in my opinion. And what's good for the brand, for the NBA is also good. What's bad for the brand too is the WNBA. And so if there's some type of support or some type of leadership, or even like saying, hey, you need to go. And that's what I'm talking about from the perspective is, if that's under his watch or affiliated with, maybe it's time for him to tell her to step aside. I'm not saying that they need to come in and just flood them with tons of money and resources. I'm just saying that if the WNBA is going to be bad for the brand of the NBA, then maybe he needs to like help push her out to get somebody in there that can come and fix that organization, because it's where the players want to be. Sometimes they just can't afford to be there right now.
So again, though, Niele, I think that we are seeing WNBA. They got that name, Women's National Basketball Association. It is still not affiliated with the National Basketball Association. It's
Okay.
they're separate
They're separate.
entities.
Okay.
Right. At first they were, and I don't think the owners, and what you're saying, I get it, and somebody should step in,
And
but
push her out.
and push her out. I agree wholeheartedly, but I think that the NBA doesn't have an ownership body that cares about the WNBA. Initially, when they had an ownership stake, a lot of the teams like the New York Knicks had owned the New York Liberty. That doesn't happen anymore. Et cetera, et cetera. Dallas, San Antonio, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Nobody, I don't think you have dual ownerships anymore. And the WNBA and the NBA split some years ago. But this commissioner is horrible. So I would imagine that the NBA commissioner, if he cared at all, probably would advise the board of governors of the WNBA, hey, that's not a good look. You might want to take a better look at this, because it's
And
not
I'm
a good
pretty
look for that
sure,
commissioner.
right. And I'm pretty sure those conversations are being had. We don't know, but I'm pretty sure they are, because after Collier's comments this week, it has put the WNBA in the spotlight in a negative way. And we see what's happening over there with Unrivaled. And they are treating those WNBA players like how they should be, how NBA players are treated. They are treating them, they're giving them the love, but most importantly, they're giving them the dollars. They're making more money over there than they make maybe in 2 seasons at the WNBA. And so I don't know how much longer this commissioner has. There's
Now I
no
will.
way she can stick around
Yeah,
and keep the players
she's
that
got to
she
go.
has.
There's no question she has to go, and I think that they're going to. If here's the thing to look for: one, if they do shut down or strike, the league is done. It's never coming back. Um, they can't. They don't have. They're just that league is on the upswing, and to strike or lock out the players now, it's a death sentence. The NHL, the National Hockey League, a major sport, experienced that some years ago and has never recovered. Has never recovered. Hockey is still a great sport. It remains a fabulous sport. They do make a little money, but they've never been able to recover. Gary Bettman killed that league when he allowed that lockout to happen. They lost all those contracts, ABC, ESPN, etc. They're now just in recent years started to bounce back after decades with a salary cap now and all of that stuff. This league is not positioned to survive something like that. Um, they need to capitalize on all of this greatness that they are now experiencing and the attention. Neil, we talked about this before. WNBA has never gotten this much attention.
And you know what? It is due to the Sweet 16, the NCAA. This is why
NCAA.
all of the attention is happening because of Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark.
Hmm.
What they did to put a spotlight on the WNBA is undeniable. I mean, so many people started and then you have people like Juju and Paige Buckers and Ozzy. There's so many great players that are happening right now that are still in the NCAA that are supposed to come to the WNBA.
Hmm.
I just think maybe the WNBA maybe needs to get one of the former commissioners of the NBA, you know what I'm saying, or one of those executives from the NBA to come over there and help fix the problems with the WNBA.
And I will say, what I disagree with Angel on is her saying that she'll pay more attention to basketball if she made more money. Basketball is what's helping you, has aided you into making all that money. So, girl, we
Well,
disagree
no,
on
I
that
mean,
one.
I totally disagree on that because Angel Reese is basically, and that's the thing, like she's the one that has the WNBA popping. So, like, don't deny what she brings to the table.
I'm not denying what she. No, I'm not denying that at all. I'm a big Angel Reese fan. But to say that, she'll concentrate on basketball when she makes more money, all I'm saying
No,
is
that's
don't
not what
forget.
she said. That's not what she
Okay,
said. She
okay.
said that they were saying that she needs to pay attention to basketball
Uh-huh.
more. And she was like, basically, she was saying she can walk and chew bubble gum at the same time. But
Okay,
what she's
okay.
not going to do is stop, focusing on her endorsements because that's where she's making her
Oh
money.
no, I no. To say that she should stop focusing on her endorsements is lunatic talk. It's broke
She's just
talk.
basically saying I can walk and chew
It's,
gum at the same time.
yeah.
And when the WNBA gets the money right, then maybe I'll be all money in the words of Nipsey Hussle.
Listen, look. West Coast comes in the house. Yay, yay.
Oh,
Doctor.
Shonda H says that Angel Reese is an entitled, delusional
Oh,
female.
there are people who feel that. I think Angel Reese has gone through so much that now she is like, you know what? She may, Shonda, I can see where she might give those vibes, but I think that she walks in a way in which she's saying, y'all are not going to make me hang my head. That's how I take it from Angel. There's some things that you can question, but I think there's a reason behind it, and I think that too many
And
people have tried
yeah,
to derail this young lady, and she has now, she's found herself, and she's standing up, and she's not hanging her head for
I don't
anybody.
think she ever lost herself. I think she understands her value. She understood her value the moment she did this. And she
Hmm.
saw the explosion of it. And she's never looked back. She's rolled the wave. She understands what she brought to the table. When she did this, they became the most watched games in the NCAA. You know what I'm saying? This helped us understand the greatness of Don Staley. Okay,
and and
all
that
of just by
also.
this.
Yep, and that also ignited
Yes.
this whole thing with Caitlin Clark, and folks quickly forgot. that it was Caitlin Clark who did that first in a very what people felt should have been called out as disrespectful, but they called Angel out as disrespectful, and there was nothing disrespectful about it.
It was nothing disrespectful what Caitlyn did. It's part of the sport. Men do it all the time on the
Yeah,
field.
and
So
they're
neither
taunting
one
all
of
the
them were
time.
wrong.
Yeah,
What made it wrong was the fact that one got ridiculed.
right.
And but Caitlyn didn't do anything wrong either. And I think that either Caitlyn is in a really sticky situation because either she can lean in to the racism or she could stand with the players.
Hmm.
And I don't think that we have yet seen, you know, which one. I think she plays both
Hmm.
sides. She
Yeah,
understands where she is and she plays both sides. But I
yeah.
really don't blame her for this. I feel like that was just part of the game and it gave us what we wanted. And
Mhm.
so these young girls, I mean, I need the WNBA to be there,
And
or I
and
guess we're going to go to Unrivaled. Either way,
and
let's see the ladies play.
and call it out for really what it really is. Again, the WNBA's popularity they've never been more popular, but the hate will always be there because people in general see the players as is a lot of black women, right? Black women never get respect, and they is a lot of players in the LGBTQ community in that league, and the hate, the hate is so palpable that they refuse to acknowledge the talent. You should care less what how a person chooses to live their life. And I think I see too much of that. If you read some of the columnists, some of the sports writers who cover the WNBA, if you read carefully, you will see, and I've seen this a lot, and I think a great person to have this conversation is Dawn Montgomery. You could see it in the writing, right? It's not overt, but the hate because they're black women and there's a number of them from the LGBTQ community. And I think that
Mhm,
that is a problem, and it's not their problem. It's not the players' problem.
mhm.
It's everybody else's problem, really.
Yeah, I mean, but I mean, I'll push back a little because I think the rivalry that we see between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark is reminiscent to Magic Johnson
Oh
and
yeah,
Larry Bird.
that is for
You know what I'm
sure.
saying?
Hmm.
And I think that, before the taboo was that they're all, from the queer community. But now I don't think that is as big of an issue as it was before because you have people like Angel Reese changing the culture of the WNBA. Before they didn't have the runway when the players walked into the game. Now, whether you're queer or you're straight, everybody wants to see what these players are wearing. And people like Angel Reese are softening the game up. So I think that whole culture of, they're all queer and I think, because of this new era of women coming into the game, they're changing that narrative. So the league is good to me all around. They just need better leadership.
Better
That's all.
leadership and people with more objectivity. That's for sure.
Well, this is so funny. Shonda says Angel needs to understand there is no I in team. Well, Shaq told Kobe that before, and Kobe told him, but there's an I in win. So the Kobe had a different take on that. He said there's no I in team, but he said there's an I in win, and he used a derogatory comment. But I was like, it's the truth.
Oh gosh. Um, so fo- folks, it's a shame Kobe Bryant gone way too soon. Black voices are declining big time in the media, according to the latest Pew Research Center's survey. It says America's Newsroom. We talked a bit about this before. Only 6% of reporting journalists were black, though black people make up 12%, or now what we make about 14% of the population. So
It's
white
less here in
journalists,
LA.
less in LA, white journalists accounted for 76% of reporters, even though the white population stands at about 61%. um, of the entire population. So um, we're missing black journalists, Niele. We see that the Washington Post, recent firing of Karen Attiah really raised an alarm about the erosion of black voices across the media. Folks, the black press is basically what you have.
I mean, I mean, I think that we're in a different space now to where there's so many options. Just last night, Karen Finney and David John launched their weekly show called State of the People, which is a Black news show. And then, of course, congratulations. And all over our timeline yesterday, it was reported that Ashley Allison, who is a contributor to CNN and a former Obama strategist, purchased the root. And so I think on the flip side, Black media has grown and even more relevant and important before. And you don't have to look to the traditional news sources like the LA Times, the Washington Post, the Wall Street Journal, CNN, MSNBC, or Fox, because first of all, the people that we're trying to talk to, they're not looking at linear TV anymore, and they're not reading those. They're reading these different types of platforms and information like the Grill, like
Mhm.
the Black Press. I mean, I want to give my hats off to the Washington Informer. They are really leaning into a contemporary space. They understand the situation that we're in and the culture that we're in, and I really applaud how they are leaning into that. The Sacramento Observer, another one, they're leaning into it. But I think right now the Washington Informer is doing their thing, and we just need more of the Black owned entities to do that, because I don't think that you need mainstream media anymore to get your message out.
RNG says black media and real black journalists are not hard to find for him. He says
Right.
one, read the black press, two, listen and watch shows like Let It Be Known, and three, black owned radio stations are getting more involved. And also, don't discount yourself, RNG. Listen to RNG's Swag
Right.
Sports as well. In fact, we've neglected to mention that Neil, he is rocking Jackson State today.
Hey, hey,
And
hey.
I don't know, Neil, you don't have on anything today.
Oh no, I have on my Black Women Are Dope t-shirt. I
Oh,
sure
okay.
do.
There we go. All right. Okay. There you go. See, is that RNG? Let us know if that's acceptable for today. It's supposed to be
Hey, I'm
Where's
saying,
Grambling? Where's Grambling?
oh, I mean, I'll wear that at the end of the month when we play Jackson State in Las Vegas.
Okay.
um
I'm sorry, Neil. Let's get to a topic that I'm sure you are chomping at the bit to get to. Nicki Minaj is asking her fans to boycott any brands in business with Cardi B as their explosive feud on social media continues to pop. She referenced both Walmart and DoorDash as examples. Of course, Nicki and Cardi have been trading fiery messages online for several days now. Neil, this is out of hand. It's out of hand.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all have, come to the conclusion that Nikki crashed out, and she's beginning to have these Kanye West style rants more and more. Um, so, I
It's
mean,
exactly what they are. I'm glad you
I
said that.
think
Kanye
that
West style.
there's something going on there. I think Nikki, Cardi B dropped some things for us to think about, whether they're true or not. They seem a little true. And so, we just need to put her on the prayer list like we did Kanye and Britney Spears. She's
And
giving Kanye and
wait a
Britney
minute.
Spears vibes.
She's giving Yeah, I feel sorry in some ways for Britney Spears. Oh my
I mean,
God.
but that's what she's giving. In a minute, she's gonna be dancing on videos with, she's damn near there. Okay. So we just need to, in a minute, we go see her walking down the street, like what was the Lil Nas X, and she gonna be on the
Oh
5150
gosh.
for a couple
Goodness
days.
grief. Martin Lawrence actually did that too, some years and years ago. He was walking down Ventura Boulevard just going nuts. And they had a They had to come get him. But this is crazy. You know, one of the things that Cardi has done, as we have talked about, Nicki Minaj did was bring Cardi B's kids into it, and these are small babies, and to you know talk that way about small
Well,
babies
she
is
picked
just
the right
not
one.
right.
She picked the right one. Nikki picked
Yeah.
the right one because Cardi had to get back. I didn't even know Papa Bear, had some issues. I didn't know. She picked the right one, okay? Because Cardi gave her what she came for. In the
Who's Papa
words of
Bear?
Needy, Papa Bear is Nicki Minaj's son. That's what she calls him, Papa Bear.
Oh, I forgot
Uh,
she even had a child.
yeah, because Cardi B says that she keeps him hidden because he is I don't want to say,
Oh,
yeah, he has what
issues.
yeah, he does. He has issues. I mean,
Oh,
so she
okay.
picked the right one because Nick Cardi was like, "You think I don't know what goes on in your household? Them Negroes that come to your house and kick you with your husband while he's using your American Express, they come right out that
Mm.
house and tell us everything that's going on."
Oh, so that's how she knows.
She said she got her ears to the streets. Okay. So, and it all makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so Nikki crashes
Ah,
out and she picked the right
totally.
one because Cardi is the one to go toe to toe. Cardi just said, "Where you at? Let's stop talking. Where you at? I'm ready to pull up."
Didn't they almost get into blows some years ago at one of those Met galas or something like that? Didn't they
Yeah,
have to be
and
separated?
yeah. So, it'll be interesting. But like I say, I think the bigger issue is there's some mental issues going on up there. And it's definitely reminiscent to Britney Spears.
Yeah, they've been showing a lot of things, revisiting a lot of things, and one of them when Nikki was getting an award, and I think it was the VMAs, and Miley Cyrus, she went after Miley Cyrus, and it was like her mood just flipped, almost like
Mhm.
somebody who was bipolar or something. I'm not saying Nikki is, but it was the way her mood flipped, and she,
Well, Cardi said it. Cardi said she's schizophrenic and she's bipolar. Cardi
mm,
said.
wow. So she that B in Cardi, that Cardi B, the B stands for getting burned. Cardi
Now, but
burning her
look,
up.
right. She's burning her up. And I'm sure there'll be more because Nikki is like, she doesn't want Cardi to have a moment at all as she just dropped her album and it's popping and everybody's listening to it.
Yep.
Nikki is just hating on it. But
The chat, Dr. Marilyn says, yes, put Nikki on the prayer list. And Shonda H says, two silly women and they're both mothers. Our world today. I'm with you, Shonda. And RNG says the Nikki and Cardi beef is followed more than the government shutdown. Unbelievable. But the mess sells in our community more than economic issues. And that is totally, totally unfortunate. And finally, Patricia Jackson says, it's unfortunate they can't navigate themselves better than this, get some mental health, do something productive. And I agree wholeheartedly with that because you have two people who could be icons and
they
who
are
could
icons.
they are icons and who could do so much for their respective communities, for all the communities.
And Cardi
But
does. Cardi does. She,
yeah, but
she
yeah,
spoke
this is
for Kamala. That's why
interesting.
people love her because she's street and she has social justice concerns. You know what I'm saying? She give
Listen,
it
let me
all
tell
to
you
you.
something. She's when she's talking politics, she's surprisingly good.
Yeah,
Cardi
yeah.
B, that is. Yeah, she's
All right.
surprisingly good. She's surprisingly interesting.
Very much so. But speaking of government shutdowns, the Trump administration has paused or canceled 26 billion in previously allocated funds,
Mm.
primarily targeting states led by Democrats. Now, White House budget director and Project 2025 architect has told the Republicans to expect mass firings and layoffs in the coming days.
Yeah,
And
they do this with a smile on their face. They do this by laughing too, and it is the most cruel thing you have seen in government, and since George Wallace.
And so not only like when we start the show with Brandon Scott talking about the racist attacks he's getting, he also is fighting for his city because these funds are definitely going to impact the state of Maryland. But in good news, The 10-foot tall statue of President Donald Trump and convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein holding hands is back, y'all. The statue is back.
This is a good news.
It's back because we know it pissed Trump off, right? And of course, it shows them handshaking. It was first installed in late September, and then the U.S. Park Police removed it. It recently appeared yesterday, and when the U.S. Park Police was reached out for comment, the press received an automatic reply. Now, here's the funny point, noting that the person was out of the office on furlough because of the federal shutdown.
Some stuff writes itself.
Okay. I started thinking it was an inside job. Bring that shit back. Ain't nobody here to get rid
Nobody here.
time.
Right.
Right.
Well, I'm sorry that you got the voicemail, but we happen to be furloughed. But go down to the statue and take some selfies.
It's bad. Now that was something I went to the museums, but I would have loved to walk over and seen that. I would took like 10. I would have did a photo shoot in front of.
That's what people are doing apparently. She said, good news.
Now let's head over to my state, California, where Governor Newsom has signed a bill ending a policy punishing parents for their children's chronic truancy. Now, the 2011 law made parents eligible for a misdemeanor if their children repeatedly missed school. Now, the measure became a flashpoint for Kamala Harris because this was something that she really pushed. And critics spoke out against the policy, saying it criminalized parents. It's interesting that she comes out with her book. She takes a shot at Gavin Newsom, and then here he comes with your policies ain't shit, and we're getting rid of them. I don't know. It could be petty. It could be petty, or it could be just like this is not a good law.
Yeah, Mike V just wrote something very interesting yesterday. The president's spiritual advisor was arrested or convicted of sex charges with minors, and Mike V says
Paula White?
No, not her, not her. Very popular guy. Listen, but nonetheless, Mike V mentions that they scolded Obama for his affiliation with Jeremiah Wright for years, but with this administration, you can be silenced for saying the truth.
Yeah, not just the Reverend Jeremiah Wright, but the Honorable Minister Farrakhan. I found out that Barack Obama was at the Million Man March. Okay, and
Robert Morris, by the way, is the guy I'm talking about. This Reverend Robert Morris from the Gateway Church.
And the thing about it is Barack Obama in Chicago lives right around the corner from Minister Farrakhan. And of course, he went to Reverend Jeremiah Wright's church. His book, The Audacity of Hope, was based upon a sermon that he heard Reverend Wright speak about on a Sunday service. And so, this is one of those times where when we talk about not exercising your full executive presidential privilege, one of those times, because clearly Barack Obama should have been able to have Minister Farrakhan visit that Oval Office, Reverend Jeremiah visit that Jeremiah Wright visit that office, because Steve Bannon was he was like a top Trump advisor, and who is he? So that's just another example of we missed the moment. Mm-hmm. We got so caught up in hope that we missed the moment to really paint one of them houses, one of them rooms in the White House black. Yeah, that's what I wanted to see, a black.
Oh gosh. Okay. Did she freeze up? You froze up on us. Oh no.
The White House. Oh, am I frozen? Oh, there, I froze up. Just a couple more headlines to get through. HBCU headlines. The DNC is coming to HBCU homecoming season. Orangey, you got to know about this one. And they're trying to gain Black voters from football games, step shows, and tailgates. They plan on being on site in an effort to connect with students as well as alumni. Is this a good thing? Are DNCs, is this a good move for them?
PNC needs to get real, and they need to stop throwing all their millions upon millions of dollars with white-owned media, and let black folks talk to the black folks through the black press. That's what I'll say about that.
And finally, in a follow-up story to what we told you about yesterday, FAMU has been fined $10,000, and its longtime announcer has been suspended by the SWAC after the Ozempic remarks about the plus-sized honeybees from Alabama. So, $10,000 fine, and he's been suspended.
And please do not put in the chat BBWs again.
And those are your headlines for today.
All right, we're going to get some Black History facts and get on out of here. On this date in 1949, after nearly 20 years of attempts by African American entrepreneurs to purchase a station, Jesse B. Blayton Sr. opened the first Black-owned radio station, WERD. It wasn't Blayton's first time making history. In 1928, he became Georgia's first African American certified public accountant. And a few years earlier, he and a group of African American businessmen founded the Mutual Federal Savings and Loan Association, for which he served as president. He also taught at Atlanta University. When Blayton bought the 1,000-watt radio station, he hired his son, Jesse Jr., as station manager. From sunrise to sunset, it featured a mix of musical genres from gospel to rhythm and blues, spun by jockey Jack Gibson, one of the nation's most famous Black radio announcers. The station's success helped the Blaytons to purchase a second station, KREL, in the Houston market. So some history on this date way back in 1949.
Yeah, I mean, that paved the way for, Kathy Hughes and Dewey Hughes. I mean, there's a story, Kathy Hughes is Radio One, but there would be no Radio One without the legendary Dewey Hughes, which was Miss Hughes's first husband. And so it's like passing the baton. And so we celebrate Black radio and what it means. We were talking about journalists and Black-owned media. And Black radio is a part of that.
There you have it. Well, that's let it be known for this Friday. Check us out again next week. We got some more stuff, Niele, coming.
For sure. Always. Black news is news is always spinning. And we're going to give it to you from the Black perspective. So over the weekend, if you want to know what's happening about the issues, the joy, the love, and the problems that are happening in Black America, you definitely want to head over to BlackPressUSA.com.
And I'm not going to say BBW. Y'all stop it. We'll see you on Monday. Thanks for watching.